Remember I told you before we went on break that we'll be discussing VAT with a federal lawmaker. His name is Senator Yusuf Yusuf, representing Taraba Central Senatorial District. Thank you so much for joining us on today's program.
Thank you very much.
So the federal government, thank you so much. The federal government recently increased VAT from 5% to 7.5%. Before we went on break, we interviewed small to medium scale entrepreneurs who lamented about the effects it would have on their small to medium scale businesses. As a lawmaker, what do you believe is your role in ensuring that the executive arm of government is preferring people-friendly policies, business-friendly policies that would help small-scale entrepreneurs like the ones that we just hosted on the program to thrive in business?
Well, thank you very much. Of course, it is the interest of government to make sure that businesses, whether they are small or big, strive in this country. Especially we in the preparation for the next level. Certainly, our GDP actually, has to be moved forward by the small and medium enterprises, because they are one of the major employers of labor in this country, and therefore any incentive that government can make should be able to make the medium enterprises, strive much better and stronger in this country. We need them more. We need them in rural communities. We need them, in every part of this country, and that is why they will strive the more.
But do you believe a policy like this would encourage these small businesses to thrive? Because an increase, a bracket increase like this for the entire VAT, for luxury goods, for daily consumables, has been increased by 50%. Do you believe a policy like this is helpful for small to medium scale enterprises? Well,
thank you very much. First of all, we got to assess, the VAT implementation in this country. VAT is value-added tax. I don't know if we operate seriously a value-added tax, or what we do is a sales tax. Because if it is the value-added tax, it has to be built right from the small, from production, to all the supply chain of it, and then we give incentive along the line to the producers up to the level of consumers. My own take on this is a blanket increase for everything is not, in my opinion, is not preferable. What is preferable is to make it selective. I believe, if the government wants to generate more revenue, it should generate from the point of luxuries and not from the point of necessities. So that is my own take on this.
Finally, distinguished, you see countries, neighboring countries like Ghana, they're removing import duties, they're reducing tax. In fact, they're removing tax ab initio, so businesses can thrive. And yet in Nigeria, the only method that we can fathom to generate revenue is 50% increase in tax. Don't you see a problem in this? And don't you believe, or let me not put words in your mouth, do you believe that there are other methods the government, especially the executive arm of government, can come up with to increase internally generated revenue?
I agree, there are so many methods to be done. Ghana is Ghana, Nigeria is Nigeria. We have our own fundamentals which are different from the fundamentals of Ghana. And therefore, we will not be comparing oranges and apples. So what we will do in this country is to look at other options that may increase internally generated revenue. Like I said, I've been a proponent of taxing heavily the luxuries. I'm a proponent of that. I'm also a proponent of taxing heavily the wealthy. In this country, the poor are subsidizing the rich. And therefore, the only way we can have, is to look at our tax system. Everywhere in the world is doing a tax reform. France is doing it, US is doing it, Germany is doing it, even China is doing it. So we should look at our tax reform in a holistic view and not just to look at VAT alone.
Some would argue that these other countries that you have mentioned, the citizens can see the impact of their taxes being paid, yet in Nigeria we don't. Bad roads, no electricity, poor water supply. So where is our tax money going?
Thank you very much. You know, we are coming from a very, very bad dream or bad practice of 16 years of misrule in this country, and we have just started just 4 years down the line, and I'm sure you will agree with me, you know, power is gradually being stabilized in this country. There are so many roads that have been renovated or revamped in this country. Railway has started moving very, very well. Infrastructure is going on gradually and very well too. So the taxation, you know, the taxman, the taxpayer will gradually see, you know, that the effort of government in making sure that the tax he pays, you know, actually he gets the benefit.
Distinguished Senator, that's a fine place to leave it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
We'll take a short break right now. When we return, the sports segment of the weekend show. Don't go anywhere.